What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Andy's Cuts. Today I'm going to be talking about how to do a half fade. We're going to do a medium half fade with a skin taper and a comb over. Today I'm going to talk to you how to do the whole haircut. Let's get the video started and check it out. To do a half fade, I usually just open up the guards. So make sure you just stay open, and we start about midway. When you're cutting the hair around the ear, make sure that you get rid of all the hair and don't leave any strands back here, because the hair kind of falls in a different angle, and just try to go against the grain to get those angles. If you just go up and down, sometimes it won't be able to cut that hair. And take this line all the way around the head and all the way to the other side, and just make it look the exact same thing by checking in the front. All right, move to the front, check the front, and make sure that both sides are exactly at the same height. This side's a tiny bit lower, so just make adjustments. And that should be better. Come back to the front, check again. Yep. All right, we're moving on to the next step. I'm gonna do a 1 guard close, and I'm gonna make my next guideline. So that should be about a finger width apart, okay? Sometimes it's hard to see your next guideline, and that's okay, because that just means that from that next guideline to the final blend, it's gonna be that much easier because there's barely a line to begin with. So as long as you see like a little faint line, that's all you need to know. This is also a disconnected comb over, because you guys can see that this part right here is super long, and then the side is brought in. That's like a 1.5 right here, because he likes it really short right there. But then when it gets to the top, it's really long, and that's what makes it disconnected. The side is disconnected to the top. And the other side of his head is connected, so it blends right into it. If it wasn't a disconnected comb over, then both sides would look exactly the same. Both sides would look like this side over here and not that side. One of the things that you need to remember is that if you're gonna take a 1.5 all the way up here, which makes it pretty high, on the other side, you gotta take the 1.5 almost as high, but not necessarily there, because you don't want to make both sides a disconnected undercut. You got to make it like the other side still blends, so you can't do a low fade on the other side. It just won't look as good from the front. So because this side is high, just make sure you take the other side as a high fade. And since I'm already on this side, I'm just gonna go ahead and blend out that line with a 1 open all the way up to the line. So I hold his hair, hold the top, so then the clipper doesn't grab anything from the top. After doing the one, I see that there's a tiny bit dark area right there. I'm just gonna pop back on my half guard and kind of like have the lever open halfway and just kind of blend out that line. If you're unsure where you should put the lever to blend out that line, just start with open, go over it a couple times, and if you don't hear anything cut, close it a little bit. You don't want to ever just jump straight to close and then try to do it, because just in case it's not the close and it's actually the open, you might leave a really big bald spot on their head. Well, not bald, but like a lot lighter than the rest of the hair. Then you got to blend that part out too. So always start with a longer lever and just go at it a couple times. See if it actually cuts. You always want to be safe and not, cut time by going shorter. There you go. That should look good. All right, we're gonna go on to do the rest. Now the back, the line is right about here. Okay, we're gonna use the half guard. I'm gonna go midway again. Like I said, you guys can try open first, but midway looks like it's taking the line out. The reason why I go straight to midway and not open is because I've been doing this for quite a long time, and I kind of can see that that shade of darkness, the hair, is a halfway instead of an open all the way. So the more you cut, the more you'll start noticing what shade of the hair belongs to what number of the clipper. And right now I'm using a 1 guard open, getting rid of this top line like we did earlier. But you see how I'm not bringing it all the way up to the top right here? I'm bringing it pretty high up just because, like I said, he had a 1.5 up here on the side. So you want to make sure that you kind of bring it as high as you can while still keep it blended. Don't go too high, because if you do and you can't blend it, it's not going to look good at all. So just give yourself some room, and only you know where you need to go, how high you need to go. And then right here, we need to blend that, and that's gonna be a clip of a comb. The reason why I don't blend it all the way up here is because I want a little bit of the hair combing down. It just has a way better look. The clip of a comb, I always make sure my comb is straight up, and then using a 0 guard, I'm just gonna blend the 1.5 that I just did to the top. Okay, just like that. Now we're gonna do the last part. This side, we're gonna do the exact same thing. Start with a half. I'm gonna go halfway again and blend out this last line right here. And if you start with open, go over it a couple times and then go to midway and then cut a little bit more if you think you need it. I wouldn't go close just because there's really nothing there that I need to close it all the way to. It's already blending out at halfway, so there's no point to close the clipper all the way. You might even create another line if you do close the clipper all the way and then it just cuts too much. You don't want to do that. All right, 1 open. Understanding what guards come in next really helps the process. So like we just used the half guard, so next guard has to be a 1 and then a 1 midway and 1 open. That's like the step of fading, like the process of doing it, and you want to make sure that you kind of understand that whole step. It'll make this whole process easy. Then 0 guard, clip of a comb, and like I said, I try to make it straight up. This is the side I blend. You see how the hair on the top kind of just blends into the side. There's no harsh line right there, and the hair kind of just doesn't hang over. That's the blending part. And to blend it, you want to make sure that you go straight up, okay? The comb straight up, meaning the comb is straight up. If you angle the comb in, his head shape is gonna go in. Then it might look like an egg shape. You don't never want that for your client. So just straight up with the comb and then blend it. And if it doesn't blend, there's a chance you might have gone too high for what you're comfortable with blending. Then try to just blend it in as best as possible and note that down for next time you cut hair, that you might want to go a little bit lower on the fade. If I brought the fade up here to blend the top, I'm gonna have to bring it in. But that's why I want to stop there, because then his head shape starts going in there and I can go straight up from there and know that I can still blend it in. There's a tiny dark spot right here that you want to just clean out real quick. Always use your mirror. That's why the mirror is usually in the back. Use your mirror and double check your work. Or you can just take like 5 or 6 steps backward. You can do that too. Okay, let's move on to the edge up. It's gonna follow right around the ear in the back and straight down this way. You wanna follow where the hair grows, okay? Not where it's laying. So right where the hair grows, that's what I'm edging up right there. Bend the ear down this way so you have more room and you're not having a chance to kind of like cut the ear at all. Look, see how I move the ear out of the way? There, and there's like no chance that I would be able to cut his ear that way. Feels safer, it doesn't hurt him, you know. So just as long as you move the ear out of the way. You don't have to push the ear down super hard. That's not really necessary. You don't have to like grab the ear and pull it really hard. You just need to move the ear out of the way. And then just follow the line all the way down. Right here, all the way down that way. You don't want to go like right here just because there's like one, there's no hair, and two of the is. It's just baby hair or peach fuzz, we call it. And you don't want to line that up. It just doesn't look good. Edge it up this way. When it looks in the bag, it looks amazing. So let's do the same thing to the other side. Okay, see how I'm folding the ear down right there? I'm not pushing anything, I'm just moving it out of the way. And then this last part, just make sure your clipper is straight and just follow that line all the way down. And then clean up all the hair that are left. Now we're gonna do a taper. I'm just gonna take it about right there, a little bit below the ear. You don't want to start your taper right here. This is like a low taper right here. It's even where you would square the neckline. It's kind of low in my opinion. I would bring up like around here would be like a medium taper. Okay, if you guys are doing this for the first time, don't get worried that, yo, that line is really high or how am I gonna get that line out? Well, I'm about to show you everything you need to know right now. Take that line right there and then use your shaver to blend down the line. I usually just start with going down. If you're new, definitely just go down at it, like close to the line. Don't go down right at the line and then go up way below the line and then go down again. Okay, that step right there will help you keep any shaver line away. The shaver line is the hardest line to get rid of, so you don't want to create a line there. Here, since this is a half, that's really all that we need with this clipper. This whole clipper should blend out this line. And since this is a half right here, I'm just gonna go a quarter way, like kind of like that, because this is open all the way. I'm gonna go halfway, and then I'm just gonna create a bigger guideline than I normally do, just because it's just a skin to a half fade, so it's not much blending area. So you want to create enough blending area that makes it looks nice. Don't do this if they had like a 2 fade, because you're gonna make it look really high. So just for a half fade and maybe a 1, depending on the density of the hair. Right about there, you see the guideline. I'm gonna close it a little bit, or actually I'm gonna close it all the way, and I'm gonna blend this line out. Okay, see how the line's getting lighter already? Okay, just keep going at it, different angle a little bit. I'm not bringing the close all the way up to that guideline that I made, just below it, or even halfway. But you don't wanna hit that line, because if you hit that line, you're gonna make a new line, then you gotta restart the process, and you don't wanna do that either. Okay. And then I'm gonna open it slightly, just a little bit. I'm gonna bring it up a little bit more. Not to that line, by the way. You might see that my clipper looks like it's hitting that line, but I'm flicking out. Each one of these motions is flicking out, so I'm technically not touching the line at all. It just made it look like that, okay? And if you do see a line on the bottom and you couldn't get it, bring back your T-liner and just lightly tap it. Flick it out, okay? Just lightly flick it out real quick, and that should actually blend everything. See how the bottom line's gone? Now we're gonna get rid of this line we made. So since we go halfway in that line, open it a little bit more. Just a little bit, and you will see that it's gonna blend out that line completely. You can kind of already see that the line's already gone. So just keep playing with it, go halfway. I don't need to change my guard right now. Just gonna go around from left to right before I even change the guard. Okay, and now you can open all the way and just connect that last line with the half fade on the side. And see, everything already looks blended. Now you go back and you kind of do micro adjustments. So like if this side looks a little bit darker, you go back and kind of adjust your guard. You kind of adjust your clipper and just kind of play around with it until both sides looks really nice. But now that we're not seeing any lines, we're just seeing more shades. That's what you're adjusting, the shade. And then look around, use your mirrors, adjust the shade of it, make sure that both sides look exactly the same. Okay, see, completely blended out, and that's what you want it to look like. Now, for the final thing, I'm gonna use the shaver to shave the neck hair right here all the way up to the line, and same thing on this side. All right, now we're gonna cut the top. I lower this just a little bit and spray enough water where you can brush the hair and make sure that the hair is sticking together, but not so much water that it's dripping down their head. Perfect. Okay, let's start with the front. I always start with the front because that's the length, the most important length. I cut probably like 1/4 of an inch off, bring it back, cut that, bring that back, and cut here. Okay, I do this motion about at least 8 times front to back. If you do it less, the top's not gonna be even. It's gonna have like, I call it hills, just because when you look at it from the side, it has like lumps, long, short, long, short, long, short. And trust me, it's not a good look. Even if the client doesn't notice that, you guys definitely need to cut it at least 8 times, okay? It makes a huge difference. Even sometimes at 8 times, it doesn't cut it all. So you have to go back and do it again. So make sure at least 8 times. If you guys want to see a more in-depth video about cutting the top, I do have more videos in the description and in the channel. So go ahead and check that video out. And I'll also leave it right there. Go ahead and click on that. Okay. And this side, since we're blending this side, you want to make sure your hand is completely straight up, and then cut it, bring it back, same thing, same method. You're gonna see the guideline in the back of the hair. When you pull it like this, there's like the new hair, and then there's the one that you've already cut laying in the back. That's the hair, that's your guideline right there. So just make sure you get it to that guideline. Okay, to cross check, you have to go from the side this way, and then pull it up. And if you see those hills that I'm talking about, then that means next time you can think about it and be like, okay, maybe I should go a couple more time on this client's hair, okay? And then if you don't see it, then you know you got it perfectly. And when you're cross-checking, you're not really cutting more hair. You're just making sure that you even it out. So if you see the hills, you're evening it out with the short part. And that's what you're doing when you're cross-checking. You're not cutting new guidelines, new hair, or anything like that. And on this side, as you can see, it kind of hangs out right there. I'm gonna scissor over comb this a little bit just to make sure it like blends in softly. It doesn't ruin the shape of the hair. Just like that. Okay, and that's it. Blends in from the front, blends in from the side. The last thing I would do is to style the hair. I always start with blow drying. Well, I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because in here we're gonna be talking more about haircuts, how-to videos, what you need to learn, how to get clients, all of it. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you guys like this video. My name's Andy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.